All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back for our second segment. We're going to get started in a moment with our senior project manager, Sunari, and our senior account manager and moderator, Andrea, regarding AI and website development and design. But before we do that, I'm going to answer a couple questions we see on the Q&A. Let's start first with Alejandro Padua's question. Do these alternative platforms, and he or she is referencing the channels that we just discussed in the last segment about diversifying your ads. Do they charge per click, or how do they charge for ads? Overwhelmingly, they charge on what is called the CPM, or cost per mil, or cost per 1,000 eyeballs. So it's if it's $1 CPM, that means it costs $1 to put your ad unit in front of 1,000 eyeballs. CPMs range anywhere from, I believe Facebook is between $4 to $8. Television can range anywhere from $14 to $20. So naturally, the CPM is dependent on how niche the market is, how wide that niche is, whether or not it's a general market, a Spanish-speaking market. Your CPMs will all be determined by who the audience is and what the inherent value is per 1,000 eyeballs to the industry that's more likely to advertise to them. A great question. We also have a question from Eric A. Olson, or Olson A. Eric. Apologies if I got that wrong. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Any recommendations on marketing to Hispanic markets for gringo lawyers who speak fluent Spanish? Thoughts on featuring or not featuring Latin staff on ad campaign? Great question. So by gringo attorney, I'm assuming that you mean you are not Hispanic, but you speak fluent Spanish. Double down on that. Promote the hell out of that. That's a great thing. Here's what we don't like to see. We don't like to see an attorney say, here you go, I want to do this Hispanic marketing thing. I'm going to go on Duolingo for the next month, and I'm going to learn some broken Spanish and speak on camera, and I'm going to tell everyone that I'm a Spanish-speaking attorney. We don't want that. That's setting the false expectation with the Hispanic market. The last thing you want to do is lie to the market. If you feel like you're competent and fluent in Spanish, to the extent that your Hispanic or bilingual staff says, hey, this person can actually contain a conversation and can control one, by all means, let's promote that. That's a very good thing. This has nothing to do with an attorney being Hispanic. It just has everything to do with an attorney being honest about what their capabilities are, whether or not it's with their own Spanish-speaking abilities or their team's Spanish-speaking abilities. Just whatever it is, just be honest. It's sort of like what we talked about at the TCPA conversation yesterday, that so much of marketing is just telling the truth and following up with what you told them they were going to do. So if you are a Spanish-speaking attorney, absolutely, Hispanic or not, absolutely promote that. And if you have a Spanish-speaking staff, absolutely promote that. This is especially true if you, the attorney or your associates or your partners, don't speak any Spanish. You have to promote the bilingual staff in your Hispanic creative. Both fantastic questions. Again, the Q&A button's at the bottom. If you want to reserve them for later at the end in the bonus Q&A, we're ready to answer those questions there too. So, Sunari, can you give us just a quick background? We already heard Andrea's background just a moment ago. Why don't you give us a quick background on where you're from and your experience with Abogados Now and web development in general?
For sure. Well, I'm from Venezuela as well as Andrea, but I've been living in Ecuador for the past 9 years already. And this will be my 4th year in Abogados Now. I'm the head of the web development department, the senior project manager, and my job has been in updating the process of web development throughout the years to match what is in the market right now.
Awesome. And so that we're really excited to hear your segment and see demos about AI and web design and web development. So have a great segment. Thank you. And I'll pass it off to you, Andrea.
Thank you. All right, let me share my screen. Joe, can you get my screen up? Thank you so much. Perfect. Present. Okay. I think you are definitely sick at this point of hearing me say that AI has made a lot of changes, but here I am again. There are a lot of changes, very positive ones. They are making the website experience much different than it used to be. Today's scenario is going to be walking you through in which ways, and these are all going to be very clear examples of how you could do it. So I hope that you find this useful. If you can take notes, go ahead. As Hugo mentioned, there are limited replays, so we're working on that. But pay attention, because she's going to give you a lot of like really good strategies. So why AI scenario? Why should you use it?
Well, as you were saying, AI has been revolutioning the world, right now, as it is right now. So what we want to do is not to replace the tools that we were using, but enhancing them with AI. So right now we find out that AI has a lot of efficiency for all of us. We can do it fast. We can do it in a very short time manner. We don't need a lot of people to do it. So it's an important side of health. We can personalize the AI. It means you can include information so it adapts to your brand or your company's information. It doesn't matter if it's a law firm or any type of company. It has a scalability. It means that even if right now you produce something on AI, you can reproduce it in the future and adapt it to the trend. And it's accessible. It means there are features that are free, there are others that are paid, but they are kind of low cost. You can choose from any of them.
Interesting. I'm glad that you gave us examples, because sometimes clients are like, okay, if I launch this website right now, does it need to stay like that for the next 6 years? No, it's always a work in progress. And these AI models allow you to grow the website that you're launching originally. And that's fundamental as things change. So yesterday, for anyone that attended the panel on social media prompts and on Google AI as well, we talk a lot about prompts. And Sunera and I realized today that I don't think we ever explained to you what a prompt was. So Sunera, can you tell me a little bit, what is the prompt, especially in connection to AI and websites?
Yes. Well, the prompt is the key to extract all the information necessary from AI and to make it generate what you actually want. So the prompt is the set of instructions that you give to the AI to get a result, right? And the important thing about the prompt is that it has to have certain elements in order to get what you want. So you cannot be as simple as create a website and it's going to happen, There is one thing about generative AI is that you have to feed it like it is food. You have to inform the AI about your company. What is it from? What do you do? What are the practice areas? So for that, you create a prompt. In this prompt, you have to be very specific. You have to let them know exactly what you want. For example, I want a blog. Write a blog with 300 words, with this tone, in this language, and then add a context. What is it for? For my company, called, for example, Sionari's law firm. And then with this practice area. And then what happens if you don't get the result that you want at first? Then you have to experiment with that prompt. And you can add additional things in order to get the perfect result.
So I think it's super fundamental to remember these 3 principles of prompt creation. Be specific, add context, and experiment. If you tell the AI to create a blog for you, it matters whether the blog is for your website, whether it's for LinkedIn. It's a different audience, it's a different style. It matters if you tell it to do it in Spanish or if you tell it to do it in English. So you always need to give it this context. It will not know it otherwise. Specific context and experiments. So now that actually, there is a very good example in the corner about DALL. What are you asking DALL to do there? We talked about DALL yesterday, by the way. It's an AI that creates images. So what is this prompt on the right side, Junari?
Well, this was a very simple prompt example that I wanted to show you. This was done with DALL, as Andrea said, which is free. And I was asking to generate an image of a Hispanic family receiving information from an attorney in a calm and nice environment. And I can use this picture to any of the blog posts so the audience feel attracted to it. You feel yourself there in the picture as a Hispanic audience, of course.
I think further on, I'm going to ask you to show us how to do that when we talk about images. But for now, let's talk about content, because now that you know what the prompt is, how can you improve your content with AI?
I know a lot of people feel skeptical about using content with AI, but actually this is going to make your life so much easier. I'm going to explain something at the end about it, but there are many advantages of using AI for content. First of all, you can right away create SEO-friendly content. You can use it in, I said bilingual here, but it can be in any language actually. You can include localized messaging about your firm, about the actual location. It means, for example, if you want to create a blog that it's addressed to the Hispanic community in California, it's going to be different in the tone that, for example, the Hispanic community in Florida. That's important. And it's also adaptable. It means you can change it to the brand, and if your brand changes, you can update it in the future. And yes, Andrea, that you were saying, I would like to show example of this because I can be here speaking, and it's better to see it.
Okay.
Let me share my screen now.
Oh,
Okay,
all right.
yeah, I wanted to show something different. Yesterday, we talked a lot about ChatGPT, but today I wanted to bring the novelty, DeepSeek. Andrea, have you checked it?
Of course, I've checked DeepSeek. From like Monday, I've been using it. So I'm very excited that you're bringing this one. A reminder to everyone, yesterday we did examples with ChatGPT. Now there is DeepSeek. So let's see how it works. What's the prompt?
Yeah, I already brought the prompt because something that you have to think about when you're creating the prompt, it's all the information that you want in it. So I was very specific. You can start smaller and then grow into it, but I brought the complete prompt. My goal with this is to create a page, not the whole website, just the content for a page for car accidents, right? I need this content in Spanish. This is going to be a new page for me. So I'm asking the AI to generate a compelling and informative car accident page for Sionari's legal firm. And that has to have the language, the content, and then it's going to have the information regarding cause of accidents, victims' right, etc. And it has to have a call action. I want to highlight my experience in the firm, case studies, and any kind of information. And I also given the AI the tone of the message that has to be clear and it has to be persuasive. And I'm just going to go and click here. And the AI, it's going to bring to me the full content of a page for car accidents in Spanish. One note that I want to say, because some people do not speak Spanish, you can just translate at the end, ask, can you translate the information that you provide to me? And then you can check it out.
That is fantastic. We also recommend in the case of building a whole page and not speaking the language yourself, to make sure that if there is someone in your office that speaks it, they can give it a look over. It's about 95% accurate, but that 5% is always worth to have someone checking. Thanks, Janari. If we can go back, that was a very good example. So that was about content. Let's talk about image creations. At this point, I think we all know that the attention span of most people is very limited. Websites are no longer as loaded with content as they used to be because people simply do not read them. People like them to have images, and these images need to be relevant and need to be culturally important. So, Sinari, how do we do this with AI?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that the importance of having this on our hand is so big because we can transform our website to actually culturally relevant images and also create infographics with it. And this is most of the time free, for example, with DALL. And also we have paid media like Photoshop AI, which is very good. And I think the most easy way to do it is to show it. Why don't we give you an example of how do we do it here?
All right, Joe, if we can see screens again. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Do you see my screen? Well, I brought, and the reason why I brought deposit photos is because most of the law firms are subscribed to stock images, Shutterstock, deposit photos like this. And now even them, they have included the AI generation pictures. So right now we are not as limited.
So I'm gonna go ahead and read your thing because I'm blind and maybe some of the people watching are a little blind, but it says generate a professional image for Sionari's legal firm showing an attorney assisting a car accident victim. include elements like a damaged car, legal documents, or a consultation scene with a Hispanic friendly representation. So that's the prompt she's giving it to create the car accident.
Yes, of course, associated with what we were doing in the prompt that was before for the writing of the website. So this is just to companion it.
Oh, and
so it doesn't take a lot of time. It's actually pretty quick, and it's gonna give you a few options. Let me open some options for you. It's important to say that sometimes AI can have, these stitches. They have sometimes 6 fingers, or their nose it's not in the place. But for example, the first result, it's working well. We can use it.
Yep.
Let's check the next one. It's also working well. We can use many of these pictures. We also have the option that it's a design. Maybe we can modify. And here is another. Well, there is not a car crash here, so we might not use this one. But as you can see, it's pretty easy to generate images that are culturally attractive and that we can replace like this.
As always, just make sure that you look at the results you get. If you don't think anything worked, then make your prompt more specific and try again. And it doesn't happen anymore, but at the beginning with these AI images, sometimes if you ask it to do like a Hispanic person having an accident, they give you one wearing a Mexican sombrero. It doesn't happen as much anymore. Just like monitor for things like that, because that's not what you want. All right, so that's for images. This is a little bit, Joy, if we can switch. This is a little bit interesting because it's about design. How to improve design with AI. This design is the way your website looks, the layout, how it's distributed, how are the things located. You already know how to add images, you already know where to get content, but how do you improve your design with AI?
This might be the most concerning part for the law firms, because they think this is too difficult. But if you have WordPress, a website built in WordPress, which is the most common thing, I will advise just to check what type of plugin was used to build the website. The most popular are Elementor and Divi Team. These are very popular. They are everywhere, and they help you because they are fast, they are customizable, they are mobile friendly. So if you have this right now, they have upgraded to include the AI, and I would like to show you as well how it's done. This is very simple, even though it doesn't sound like it. I have this website that I got prepared for you. This is a test website. It has been built in AI in full, and right now we are customizing that website. You go inside your WordPress, and then you click in Elementor, and the Elementor options, when you edit the website, it's gonna appear this little icons with 2 blue stars. This is the AI section, and then we can just generate. This is the About Us page, and I want to include the history of the law firm. Okay, so for that, I created a prompt, which is not a very short prompt. It's very specific, following the rules of the prompt. And I'm requesting
what you included.
to
just a summary.
Yeah, we want to create a visually appealing company history section, and I'm explaining that it has to have a column with text, column with image, and it has to have the company's journey, probably a timeline, that it's what I want, and to have key milestones in the chronological order of the company. So I click on generate, and I wait for the system to give me options, which is the good part. And let me show you. It doesn't even take
something. It gives you multiple choices, right?
Yes, that's correct. Let me show you. But right now it's loading. While it loads, I want to comment that it doesn't give you just one option. You can actually, before adding it to the website, here we have. Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 options that we have. Which one do we think it's better? In this case, I'm gonna go with the black one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just click on it, and it's going to appear in the bottom part of my website. And because my website has been created with Elementor, which is a builder, I just can put it up if I want to. And if I have any problems with any part of the text, I just go here in the regular Elementor. It's loading.
That's
I
great.
just go here in the regular Elementor editor that you already know, and we edit the text.
I think it's super interesting that it gives you 3 different choices, because that means that not everyone is going to have exactly the same looking website, because it's going to depend on the prompt. Because I know that's a concern that some of our clients bring in. They're like, but if we're going to use AI, will all the websites look exactly the same? And not really, because as you can see, it's going to depend on the prompt that you're providing. Then it's giving you 3 choices. Then you're editing that prompt. It's making everything quicker and more efficient. But it still has your touch. It still has the design elements that you're looking for. Wow.
That is correct. You can still, and you don't have to use the elements that you were using in the past. You don't have to relearn an application. You don't have to build your website outside of WordPress. You don't have to throw your website, whatever it is, you can just reinvent it.
Wow. All right. So I feel like I just want to bring in one last aspect. So Joy, if we can, thank you. Do we still need a human? I feel like this is a very common question to ask, because people are like, look at all it did. Do we still need a human involved? Do we, Sioneri?
Yes. Well, part of when you're learning generative AI, one important part of the process is learning that there is a human in the loop all the time. There is a human behind the AI, and I'm not talking the person who did the AI, is you creating the prompt, is you editing every step of the way, because you can have errors in language adaptation. That's why Andrea was saying, if you have a person that is a Hispanic speaker in your law firm, bring it to review. It can bring cultural sensitivity. It means an image, like Andrea was saying, with the example of the Mexican hat. This might not be very good for your audience, so we have to take out of it. We have to oversight all of the product that it has been done and modify it according to your branding, to your goal, to your vision, to your mission. And that's the reason we have to be always there.
Yes. So I think this is something that Hugo was mentioning yesterday. There is a lot of concern that AI is just replacing everyone, but anyone that works with you with AI is going to be extremely valuable. They are just making themselves 3 times more efficient. And for things that you didn't even know how to do before, let's say that you're an attorney who specializes in the law and did not know how to build a website by yourself because it's daunting, it isn't anymore. It still needs work, it needs you, but it is something that can be done. So we are very much excited about that. So to recap, I just wanted to just have a general view of things that we discussed. We talk about AI on the website to do what? To create content, to create images, and to create a design. So basically every aspect of your website now has an AI tool that can make it easier. This also allows you to leverage cultural relevance to connect with Hispanic clients. By this, I mean that if you're building a website that is fully in Spanish, targeting the Hispanic community, but no one on the website looks Hispanic, that gives a mixed message. With AI now, this is more possible than it used to be without having to have stock photos that you have to buy or do even a photo shoot yourself. Yeah, so I don't know, Sinari, if there is anything else. Oh, there is a Will here. Hi, Will.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great segment. I just want to add one note here about stock images, and it could almost be its own like segment. There's this assumption that if it's on the internet, like an image or a video, that it's just kind of free to use. And I'm really glad you mentioned deposit photos, right? Because if you have any marketing, any website, if you have anything online digital, you need to be really sure that whatever you're promoting, photos, videos, even copy, are with licenses that you're able to use. So for instance, if you get an image from, and we see this so many times with other agencies, it's kind of scary. An agency will post a blog on your website. Let's say it's about DUIs, right? That agency might go on Google search, just punch in DUI, get an image, and then post it on your blog without referencing credit to the photographer or without ever paying the original rights owner, who could be Getty Images or that photographer or a graphic designer. we've seen an influx of lawsuits and demand letters with attorneys, old websites, old social media posts, as a result of images their prior marketing managers had lifted illegally, without authorization, without consent. So while AI is going to create a lot of original works that have their own inherent licenses for which you can use for commercial purposes, that's great. We're still kind of in this transition period where we're still using photos and images by other creators. And I think it's just a good reminder that, you know, to alleviate any risk, to de-risk yourself from getting these demand letters or even potential lawsuits, get stock library subscriptions like Deposit Photos. I believe most of these subscriptions range anywhere from like $25 a month to, you know, at the very high end, you know, $250 to $500 a month. And that's for like very extreme high volume users. Story blocks, video blocks, Getty images. There are so many places to legally use images for commercial use. Not trying to sidetrack the AI website discussion, but it just dawned on me like how big this issue is. And Andrea and Sunari have seen this, where attorneys in our program will say, hey, I got this demand letter. What's this about? Then we'll investigate it. And then we find that they have 50 blog posts from 2015 to 2018 that their prior agency had used without authorization. And now they're going to have to settle for tens of thousands of dollars in damages for unauthorized use of photos and videos. So make sure that whatever you promote is coming with a license, that there is a paper trail in that supply chain. That's going to be super helpful for you and to de-risk yourself from any rights and rather IP trademark issues. Yeah.
No, it doesn't apply just to the websites. We have seen it for social media posts, Instagram posts from 2008. And a very good alternative that we forgot to mention is Canva. The paid version of Canva allows you to use a whole deposit of photos that you are allowed to use. So it simplifies the searching whether you have permission to use it or not. If you have the paid version, you can, and they will let you know.
And it goes without saying, your attorneys, look at the fine print, make sure that whatever you subscribe to, you're able to use for commercial use, specifically commercial use. If it's for your business, it's commercial use. So awesome walkthrough. So we're going to take a 5-minute break for before our last segment with the CEO of Aveda Virtual, Andy Fang. Again, he and his company are like the leaders in intake. I think they're going to be massive in a couple of years. So great opportunity to ask questions. We see questions here about AI powered tools for live chat, for Instagram, social media videos. We'll get to those probably at the end on the bonus Q&A. So if you want to continue adding more questions, by all means do so. And just one more reminder, JC put it up here. If you haven't received your exclusive white paper PDF download, email jc@abogadosnow.com. It's complimentary and it's only for attendees of this program. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.